Hi all. Uh, Continuing with the discussion on ISI, today we will discuss design of band limited signals for zero ISI, especially the Nyquist criteria. Here we are going to have design of band limited signals for zero ISI. What is the requirement of this? As you know, the output of the channel, here you can see in this equation, output of the channel is h of t, which is convolution of the channel's impulse response with the uh, input signal, that is gt of t, correct? But we don't have any control over the channel's impulse response. It is independent. Here gt of t we can control. That's why for avoiding ISI, we try to design GT of T, or so as to have zero intersymbol interference, we need to design the input bit sequence itself in such a way that we are not going to get any intersymbol interference after receiving it. Okay, so the Fourier transform of the signal at the output of the receiving filter is given by x of f is equal to gt of f into c of f into grff. Here gt of f is output of the transmitter filter, c of f, you know, it is the channel response, gr of f is the matched filter response. Okay, in this, when after this, what we are going to do, we are going to sample the signal at instance t is equal to mt, and y of m is given by this equation, which we have already seen in the previous lecture, correct? And in the second term of this equation, we find it is intersymbol interference. This weighted sum corresponds to intersymbol interference. This we want to make it 0, that is x of mt minus nt is equal to 0 for n not equal to m, and x of 0 must be equal to 1. This is the condition. Then if these conditions are satisfied, then we can say intersymbol interference is 0. For this purpose, the overall communication system has to be designed such that x of nt is equal to 1 when n is equal to 0, x of nt is equal to 0 when n not equal to 0. This is a kind of definition like delta function. Okay, not exactly delta, but it resembles the delta function. Okay, now uh, this condition, so as to have this condition for any communication system, excuse, the necessary and sufficient condition for x of t to satisfy xn of t is equal to 1 for n is equal to 0 and 0 for n not equal to 0, we must have the Fourier transform of x of f given by this equation, that is summation of m is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of f plus m by t must be equal to t. If this condition is satisfied, then only we can have xn of t, and this condition is known as Nyquist pulse shaping criteria or Nyquist condition for zero ISI. So the meaning here is, to make this term 0, we should have xm of t minus nt is equal to 0 for n not equal to m, and x of 0 is equal to 1. So if this has to be satisfied, we have to have a signal which is of this kind: x of nt is equal to 1 for n is equal to 0, 0 for n not equal to 0. And the necessary and sufficient condition for this kind of signal to exist is the Fourier transform of x of t, that is x of f, should satisfy this condition. The sum, infinite sum of x of f plus m by t must be equal to t, where m is an arbitrary integer and t is the period of the symbol. Okay, and this is popularly known as Nyquist criteria. If this condition is satisfied for a particular signal in the frequency domain, then we can construct this signal such that intersymbol interference is removed and we'll get back our signal without any distortions. Okay, but in actual, it is not possible to design a signal or a band limited signal with zero ISI. Okay, because of the limitations inherent in the signal properties itself, we will not be able to design band limited signals with zero ISI. That's why we try to design band limited signals with controlled ISI or partial response signals. Let me explain this in brief. For signal design for zero ISI, it is necessary to reduce the symbol rate by 1 by t below the Nyquist rate of 2W symbols per second in order to realize practical transmitting and receiving filters. On the other hand, suppose we choose to relax the condition of zero ISI and thus achieve a symbol transmission rate of 2W symbols per second. By allowing for a controlled amount of ISI, we can achieve this symbol rate. So we have uh, settled for partial response signals instead of zero ISI signals. Here we have already seen that the condition for ISI is x of nt must be equal to 0 for n not equal to 0. However, suppose that we design the band limited signal to have controlled ISI at one time instant. This means we allow one additional non-zero value in the samples x of nt. The ISI that we introduce is deterministic or controlled here. Hence, it can be taken into account at the receiver. We will discuss this case next. One special case that leads approximately realizable transmitting and receiving filters is specified by the samples, which is given over here. X of nt is equal to 1 for n is equal to 0 and 1. Here instead of only n is equal to 0, there is an additional n value for which x of nt is 1. That is what I have explained just now. So this is controlled ISI. By this we can recognize at the receiver also, we can easily uh, avoid this redundant signal and only get back our original signal. Now let us define a function Zn which is equal to t times x of minus nt. Then by substituting n values, we are going to get Zn is equal to t if n is 0 or minus 1 and Zn is equal to 0 otherwise. Using this condition, substituting for Zn in this equation, which is derived in the Nyquist criteria that we have not covered. Okay, so using this equation, if we substitute for Zn and simplify it, we'll get Z. t plus t into e to the power minus j 2 pi ft. For t is equal to 1 by 2w, we get this equation after simplifying using this one. Okay, so we are going to have x of f is equal to 1 by 2 omega 1 plus e to the power minus j pi f by w. It is not omega, it is w. For magnitude of f less than w and 0 otherwise. So this is the condition we are going to arrive at. And by taking e to the power minus j pi f divided by 2w as common and simplifying this equation, we can get this equation. Okay, the simplification is not written over here, but if we simplify, we'll get this one. And now the x of t, this is x of f. Taking the inverse Fourier of this particular function, we are going to have x of t as sinc 2wt plus sinc 2wt minus 1. And this pulse shape, what we have arrived just now, is called as duo binary signal pulse, because there are two signal parameters are there in a single pulse. That's why it is called as duo binary signal pulse. It is illustrated along with its magnitude spectrum in this figure. This is the magnitude spectrum and this is the frequency spectrum. Okay, here what we can note is the spectrum decays to 0 very smoothly, which means that physically realizable filters can be designed to approximate this spectrum very closely. Thus, a symbol rate of 2w is achieved. This is a very smooth curve here, okay, in the frequency spectrum. So what we can conclude is it is not a exponential decay of the signal, this particular spectrum. So we can design a practically realizable filters. In practical realizable filters, what happens is frequency response slowly comes to 0. Here also the same thing is happening as compared to sharp roll off or rollover rate. Here it is a very slow rollover rate. That's why we can say with this duo binary signal pulse involving two sinc functions, we can have a very realizable filter at the transmitter and receiver, and thereby intersymbol interference can be minimized. Okay, it is not zero now, it can be minimized. Another special case that leads to or approximately physically realizable transmitting and receiving filters is specified by the samples x of nt given by this equation. Okay, here, and this is called as modified duo binary signal, and the corresponding x of t after solving this equation as in the previous case, we are going to get x of t as x of t is equal to sinc of t plus t by t minus sinc of t minus t by t, and the spectrum is given by this equation. For magnitude of f less than or equal to w, x of f is 1 by 2 omega or 2w e to the power j pi f by w minus e to the power minus j pi f by w, which is equal to j by w sine pi f by w. That is our x of f for this particular kind of modified duo binary signal. Now The magnitude and frequency response of this signal described by this equation is uh, given over here. Okay, here what you can see is from this particular diagrams of the frequency response and time response, we have x of f magnitude. It will become 0 at f is equal to 0, making it suitable for transmission over a channel that does not pass DC. This is the second kind of signal, we can say, that is the modified Dou binary signal pulse for minimum or partial ISI. We can obtain other interesting and physically realizable filter characteristics by selecting different values for the samples x of nt, and by selecting more than two non-zero samples. Now initially one kind of signal we have designed for n of t is equal to 0, uh, then x of nt will be 1. Okay, otherwise the value will be 0. That is only one sample we have considered. Next we have considered two non-zero samples for 0 and 1. Here it is n is 1 and minus 1, two non-zero samples. Similarly, by selecting more than two non-zero samples, we can have physically realizable filter characteristics. However, as we select more non-zero samples, the problem of unraveling the controlled ISI becomes more cumbersome and impractical. So in general, the class of band limited signal pulses that have the form x of t given by this equation and their corresponding spectra given by this the second equation are called partial response signals when controlled ISI is purposefully introduced by selecting two or more non-zero samples from the set of x of n by 2w. The resulting signal pulses allow us to transmit information symbols at the Nyquist rate of 2w symbols per second. The detection of received symbols in the presence of controlled ISI will be described in the next lectures. Okay, so this is about the design of band limited signals with controlled ISI or partial response signals. So zero ISI is practically not possible. So that's why we are going for controlled ISI by designing different kinds of input sequence itself. That is Dou binary sequence, modified Dou binary sequence, and the general equation for band limited signal generation. Okay, with this we'll conclude this lecture. In the next lecture we'll understand about the probability of error for detection of digital PAM signals. Okay.